Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Young Money Investments. In today's video, we are going to be answering your questions from IG Land. Yes, we did a little Instagram story not too long ago, and I asked you guys your questions. What do you want to know when it comes to trading stocks? In today's video, I'm going to answer all of your questions and maybe throw in a few helpful words of wisdom that'll help you along the way. All today on Young Money Investments. All right, you guys, so to start out, our first question here is what got you trading in the stock market? So really the big thing that got me started in the stock market was we had the '08 recession crash. So there was a big recession back in 2008. Some of you might have not even been like really interested in stocks at that time. I was in high school, the markets had pulled back, and I believed in the statistics that over time, stocks would continue to go up. The S&P 500, the overall markets, for the past 60, 70, 80 years have traditionally continued to go up. So my philosophy was, hey, I don't know a lot about the stock market, but I know I can long-term invest some of my money right now, and it will go up over time. And so that's really what got me going, got me interested in the stock market. What really catalyzed my interest in day trading was the ability that I had to actually trade a substantial amount of money. So having a summer sales job and making a large amount of money, more money than I ever could have imagined, it allowed me to then go, okay, there's guys out there making $100,000 a year, 200, 300, and there's hedge fund managers that are making millions and millions, if not billions of dollars. And I thought, you know what? Why not start to use some of this money, this supplemental income that I can afford to lose, to learn this market? Because I always knew the wealthy make their money work for them. And so for me, that's really like the principle and kind of the core that got me into investing first, and then gradually getting into more swing trading and then day trading, and kind of mixing this whole skill set together to create the final product, which is Young Money Investments today. All right, next question we have here is from Wilson.the.planet, but it says, please talk about IIPR. What do you think about it? I'm not going to do a whole bunch of stock callouts. There's a few other ones on here. I'm going to do this just for you because this is one of the first ones. But just looking at the chart pattern, it's showing a descending pattern. Yes, there's some levels of support from the previous run up. So there's a decent chance if you look at the chart and everything here on IIPR. So basically my opinion on that is wait for a break of pattern. It's showing a downtrend pattern. The EMA is acting as resistance, and it's continuing to drive that stock down. That's number one. So wait for the consolidation in any move in a stock. You have a couple things. You have the pullback, you have the consolidation, you have the push up, you have a pullback, and that's your confirmation, and then your uptrend. So there's a few different steps. Hopefully we kind of wrote all those down, but there are steps in any reversal or dip buying opportunity. And a lot of times traders will get in, they'll buy too early, and then they're sitting on it for a long time. And that also brings me to volume. This particular ticker, there's not a lot of volume in it. So you're going to probably be stuck in it for a while because there's not a whole lot of volume in this particular stock. I like to trade companies that have a little bit more volume, a little bit more news surrounding them, because there has to be liquidity. There has to be other traders that want to buy and sell it in order for you to make money. Okay, next question is from Papa Katie, P-A-P-A-K-A-T-I or K-A-I-T-I. Katie says, what is the best time to sell, morning or afternoon? It really just depends, honestly and truly. If you've swung a trade overnight, there's some times that you want to take your profits in the morning. There's other times where the move has happened during the day, and you can take profits during that day. So it's all dependent on a lot of different factors. I can't just say morning is the best time to sell. Afternoon's the best time to sell. I have liked shorting lately in the afternoons just because I don't want to get stuck in a squeeze early morning and then watch that sucker run up. Usually I can tell if the momentum or the euphoria in a particular stock is done towards the end of the day. And that's usually when I'm getting in short. I'm being very cautious right now because it's been so long since we've really had volume in the stock market to do shorts. Now, if you're just talking about, long-term investments, or if you're just talking about swing trading, none of that really will apply as much to you. But I think you can still take some of those principles and apply them to, your swing trades or whatnot. So that is probably my best overall answer or piece of advice I could give you. So the next one, we got TJ underscore Klinkhammer. And he says, I work full time and find it hard to keep up on the market. What's the best strategy to manage your time and be a successful trader while working full time? So I always say the hardest part of being a trader or being in the stock market is managing your time. Like, managing your time by far is the hardest. And that's really, for me, why Young Money Investments is such a cool private mentorship group, chat room, because we have investors in there that can only invest, part-time. They can't be active on their trading platform every day, let alone a few times a day or all day in front of their computer screen. So that's going to dictate a lot of things. So they are in it for the long-term investments. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for understanding, the financials of companies and tying that into the technical analysis, which we obviously do here in Young Money Investments. And so that is kind of the biggest question, is how much time do you have to dedicate towards that? And the answer is, the more you get to know it, the more you get to love it, the more time you will allocate towards that. It's just like anything. If you love watching Netflix and you love a show, you're going to spend more and more time. You're probably going to watch more episodes as you get hooked on a particular show. Same thing with the stock market. I started out as a long-term investor. I didn't love the volatility. I wanted more of a safe investment. And then I started to learn new skills, and I started watching more YouTube videos, and I started smashing the thumbs up button. And it all just kind of rolled from there. I really just continued to take all that, and then that is where I am and where I'm at today. So you just got to manage your time. And I think, if you do have a full-time job, day trading probably every single day is not going to be there. There's certain times of the year as well that work out very well. For example, right now, starting in usually September, October, all the way through kind of the springtime, there are a hot penny stock market. During the summer, I don't day trade that much because there's not as much volatility in that. And I don't really trade a lot of options. So there's not the ability to trade options on some of these larger mega cap companies like Facebook, Apple, Tesla, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, in conclusion, it's just going to depend on your time. I love swing trading, and I love that in the group, basically what we do is we have like a weekly watch list of stocks that look like they're good. Swing trades, I give my opinion on them. You're allowed and obviously encouraged to give yours. We can talk about it. There's the 4 times a week where we go live. I encourage and love for you guys to bring tickers there and kind of talk about it a little bit more so that we can plan and prepare together in order to make money in that week and the following weeks in the stock market. All right, next question here says, how much money should you have prepared to start investing? That's going to depend on your financial situation. If you are investing, I always recommend that you're taking a portion out of your paycheck, every single paycheck, and setting it aside, saving it. Because what you do is that when there are opportunities to buy, you have a set amount of cash on the side to start investing. And, I love the story. There was a UPS worker, I forget his name, but he only had like $14,000 was the max amount he ever earned. With inflation, they say he made like 120 grand a year. Whatever. I don't want to get anyone in the comments, just harping on me because they say, what about inflation? This was back in the 50s. But the guy finished and ended up with $70 million when he retired. That is because he put aside 20% of everything he ever earned in order to invest. And so if you're investing, that's what I recommend doing. If you're looking to day trade, plan on it being an investment into your knowledge and tuition to the market. I would say start with a $2,500 account. That's what you're going to need to start out with Trade Zero, and consider that like any other class. Be prepared to lose some money. Be prepared that that money may be gone. That is what you have to go into day trading in order to actually become profitable. So many people think just getting into the stock market, you're just going to make money right away. That doesn't happen very, very rarely. You have to look at it as education. You're going to school. When you go to school, you don't expect to start making money while you're in college. You don't have your degree. You're paying to go to school. Same thing with learning the stock market. This is some of the brightest minds in the world doing something that is high risk and high reward. You have to also understand you're a beginner. You're not going to most likely make a ton of money right at the beginning. Be prepared to suffer some losses. As you start to understand, you will start to graduate and grow bigger and bigger. And then as you do, you can continue to add more to your account. And then that's where the big returns start coming in. You start seeing a few $100s in a day, 500, 1,000, et cetera, et cetera. But always be patient and wait for the right setup. Next question here says, what kind of time commitment do I need if I've got a 9-to-5? Again, and this is a question I'm getting a lot, right? If you have a 9-to-5, there's all sorts of, groups within Young Money Investments. There's long-term investments, there's swing trading, and there's day trading. So long-term investments, literally, you can be in our weekly, you could be in there once a week and say, hey, I've been thinking about investing in Apple. I've been thinking of investing in Tesla. I've been thinking of investing in Facebook. They've had some negative news. What do you think they're going to do for the long run? And we can discuss and talk about all those things. Again, swing trading, we have coverage every single day. We have coverage, especially on Stock Pick Sunday. We go over what's going to happen. So you basically can set your buys. You can set your sell orders, your limit orders and things like that, your stop losses. And so theoretically, you don't have to be on your app day in and day out. You can check them. Obviously, I highly recommend checking them, watching, the charts and everything, but it's all dependent upon how much time you have. And with that, you need to understand that's what's going to determine how much profit you can potentially make. Day trading has a little bit more risk, but it also has a lot more potential for return, as opposed to maybe a swing trade. Again, a little bit less risk, a little bit less volatility, a little bit less movement, less potential for profit. And then you also have your long-term investments. Again, you're not having to watch it as much. You're not having to put in as much time. Time is money, you guys. That's the biggest thing to remember. And then that also means your rewards are going to be a little bit less, but there's less risk involved with that, in my personal opinion. Next question is investing into Dan Bilzerian's Ignite company wise. Do you think it's a value? That's really the question. I am not one to say it's valuable or not valuable. My personal opinion, it doesn't really matter. It's more about what you see value in and you understanding the technicals and everything. It's such a new company, to be honest. It's hard to say whether it is or isn't. The cannabis space right now has been hit very hard. There's almost oversupply and not enough deregulation in order for there to be more profit in that specific space and industry. With that being said, Dan Bilzerian is a great marketer, and the stock obviously is cheap right now, so to speak. So, it's worth a gamble right now, but I would not call that an investment. I would call this a gamble or a speculative play if you're going to be getting into something like Ignite. It's being traded on the OTC market, so that just really goes to show you this could be a complete fugazi. Who knows? All right, next question here. How do you manage your time so effective while trading consistent? I spend a lot of time doing this. I don't know if I'd say I manage it efficiently. I do spend my time doing things that I love. I'm sure just like, everyone else, you spend more time doing things you love. I've developed a love for trading. I've developed a love for understanding companies. I've developed a love for just absorbing and soaking in the information. And so basically I'd say like how I effectively manage my time is, just investing my time in avenues and arenas that will yield the most profit. I mean, there's, real estate right now. That's one of my avenues I'm spending time on. There's obviously my summer sales teams. That's an avenue that I'm spending time on. There's so many things that we spend our time on throughout the day, week, years, everything. You just have to learn to delegate your time to the things that you see the most value in. Last question here is, how do you know which stocks to invest in? Do you use scanners or is it chart analysis? It's a mixture. So obviously day trading, definitely using charts. Charts are a great thing. Being a part of stock groups, even free groups, is always great to see what other people are calling out. With being a predominantly short seller in the penny stock world, I love being in chat rooms that are long bias. It reminds me that there is always someone on the other side of the coin that's wanting to do something else and that's maybe wanting to push the stock higher. So I like being involved in other groups and other chat rooms, but at the same time, not listening to a lot of that noise. That's always very crucial. In terms of swing trading, there are just specific companies that I really like. I like for the long term. And so I do love dip buying and swing trading and kind of playing the volatility on some of those larger cap stocks. So in terms of swing trading, I look for companies, again, with big news, volume. You have to have volume in order to make a profit. If people aren't there, selling to you on the lows, and there are buyers up there at some of the highs, you're not going to be able to profit. And so for me, I have a list of maybe 50 different stocks that I'm pretty well, versed in and knowledgeable in. And that's really where I keep it. I wouldn't say I'm super knowledgeable in all 50. I'd say probably 20, 25 of them, I'm pretty knowledgeable in their financials, fundamentals, and things like that. And then I just pretty much circulate all those. As you start, the best thing to do is probably get to know maybe 5 to 10 companies and really focus on the chart patterns on those particular stocks, and also focus on the fact that there is some volume in those stocks. That's why I like trading mega caps or large cap companies, because they have a lot of volume and shares that are being traded. So that's really my thought process on everything. I hope those questions, putting those questions out there and answering those were helpful and insightful. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. I always appreciate that little payment, basically helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you would like to join the private mentorship, take a look at my course. All those links are down in the bio below. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.